So how do you overcome an affair? Okay, what I'm going to say, some of the things I'm going to say today are going to be very controversial, but hang in there with me because if you practice these things, you really can overcome an affair. First, the very first thing I do when I work with my clients is to talk about how much each of them wants to overcome that. If they are both looking to overcome and come back together, then they really can. I tell them they can, but they have to both want it because it is not easy for either of the parties involved for different reasons. But we'll talk about those things in just a second here. But let's kind of go down the list. There's a list of about 7 things that we have to happen to overcome. And that's what I'm going to really focus on right now. Those 7 things. The first one, the affair has been disclosed. Anything that is in darkness is going to come between you. If you are keeping a secret, you cannot overcome it. It is always going to be something. You think you're really good at keeping that secret, but I promise you, your partner knows something is wrong. They won't know what it is, but they will know. And even if they don't, you know. And that keeps you from feeling really close because it is something that you can't talk about. And in a relationship, you need to be able to talk about anything. Then the second piece is the affair must have ended. You can no longer continue an affair with somebody if you're working on having a relationship with your partner. I know that seems obvious, but there are people who have a hard time with that. No, you can't continue to talk to them. You cannot continue to be friends. In fact, number 3 is you can't have any contact with them at all. You have to find another job if you have to. Move out of town if you have to. You've got to make sure that there is absolutely no contact. That person you cannot talk with this person anymore. You can't be friends with this person. If you see them in public, certainly you're civil, but you cannot have any kind of direct contact with the person with whom you've had an affair if you want your marriage to not just survive, but flourish. Number 4, this is really hard. You have to understand what went wrong in your relationship to make this happen, to allow for the space for an affair to occur. When you recognize what went wrong, then you can fix it. But if you are not willing to look at what went wrong, you're not going to be able to take care of it. You're not going to be able to address the issues. And this, like I said, this is going to be hard for both people. It's easy to blame the person who cheated. Oh, you cheated. You shouldn't have done that. You knew better. And I'm not going to argue with you. They should have. Yes, I agree. But maybe they were unhappy. That's not an excuse. There are no excuses for having an affair, but you still have to understand what went wrong. And the person who was cheated on, the innocent party, has got to be able to look at him or herself and say, what did I do wrong? Because a relationship, a marriage takes 2 people who are 100% committed to the marriage, to the relationship. And if you are not putting in your effort 100% of the time, 100%, 80% of the time, you have to put in everything you've got. And if you haven't been doing that, if you've been hypercritical, if you've been distant or busy or running around doing other things, even being busy doing church stuff can be a problem, because busyness that takes you away from your spouse is going to create that space. So you've got to really examine the time and the effort and the energy that you are putting into your relationship. You'll recall from another video when I talked about how defining an affair is anything that takes emotional energy away from your marriage. And so you want to be able to look at that. So that was number 4. Number 5, is tied to number 4. You must accept personal responsibility. I cannot blame someone else for my actions. If I have been busy, or I have been super critical, then I have to own that. I can't blame someone else. You cannot blame another person for your behavior. You alone are responsible for what you do. Yes, you may be reacting to someone else, but you still choose how you react. You choose how you respond. The person who's cheating may say, well, I cheated because, she or he didn't do this or that. But they are still completely responsible for their behavior, for their response. And so you want to make sure that you accept that without any kind of explanation/justification. Number 6, I told you this is going to be hard. You have to forgive. I have a whole video on forgiveness, but you have got to forgive. And I heard it said once that forgiveness is something you do all at once and then every day for the rest of your life. I have frequently said forgiveness is not something that is one and done. It is something you do every time you think about it. Every time you find yourself becoming angry about it, you have to let it go. You have to forgive again. And it is really hard for the person who was cheated on to let go of that anger, because they think somehow if they let go of the anger, if you let go of that anger, then your partner is going to cheat on you again. If you continue to punish them, then they'll learn their lesson. But the reality is, the more you punish them, the more you drive them away. If you want to build a new, strong relationship with your partner, you must forgive. You don't forget, obviously, our brains record everything, but you have to act as though it's forgotten. You don't get to bring it up every time you think about it. You have to let it go every time you think about it. You cannot talk about it. You cannot punish them for it. And now this is also going to be a little bit controversial. The person who cheated also has to forgive the partner they cheated on. Yeah, because if you cheated, the chances are you were angry at your partner for whatever your partner did or didn't do in the marriage that made that divide begin, that started building the wall between you. So you have to forgive them for that and give them a chance to learn new ways to interact with you so that you can have that strong relationship. So forgiveness is going to take place on both parts. And number 7, you have to work to rebuild the connection. You can't just go back to the old way of doing things. You must continue to do each other, and to date each other, to spend time with each other, and to really treat each other as though they are the most important person on the planet, because they are. They really, really are. Your spouse is your primary relationship. Primary above your children, primary above your mother, your father, or your brother, your sister, above your best friend. They have to know that you believe that you feel that. We have to have that kind of strong connection, that we know that we are primary in your life. And so you want to build that connection every day. And I know it's hard. Sometimes, our work schedules keep us apart, but we can stay connected in our heart, in our mind, in our spirit. We stay connected through our devices. We stay connected by just praying for each other or meditating about each other if you want to, but keeping that connection going regardless of what else is going on in your life. And as long as you do those 7 things, affair is disclosed, affair is ended. The affair that is that there's no more contact, and that you understand what went wrong, and that you accept personal responsibility. You forgive. I don't have enough fingers. You forgive, and then you build that connection. Those 7 things will get you on the path to having a really strong relationship that was better than the one you had before the affair. For more great content like this, just like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below any topics that you may want me to cover or any questions that you may have. You can always reach out to me and I'll be there.